This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at another Mattel Creations exclusive for the Powers of Grayskull, part of the Masters of the Universe collection, Tauraton, the ancient monster of Fraternia. And I'm just going to say I'm grateful that this box is designed this way, because now I can get a decent image of that cover to use for my thumbnail instead of the one with all the boxy parts around it. Wait, you know what? Forget what I just said. Let's just go on with this. So the front of the box obviously is like the symbol that they've been using. We get a side view of Tauraton here. We get a full body shot of him, and he's a large four-armed creature. On the back, we get a really good look at him fighting against Vicor and an unknown female barbarian who's holding a pterodactyl-style crossbow, it looks like. I hope they make these two figures. And, oh shit, there's a weird dragon creature also up there. That's interesting. I didn't even notice that before. So, yeah. So there's 3 more characters that can be added. Vicor, of course, appearing originally in Classics, being the only character that's had a figure before for this box here. So, as you guys may recall, I do like female characters, so I do hope they make her. She looks pretty cool. Hopefully they don't girl power her like they did Sharella. Her backstory was such a disappointment and didn't make any sense when you got right down to it. There's also a special feature on this box. As you can see, it opens up so we can see the figure and some more information and another bit of artwork. And of course, the stupid little Velcro thingy here to hold it closed is right on top of the artwork. The mighty Tauraton, a monster from another dimension. He is the master of the labyrinth that becomes the eternal prison for those trapped within. Thorn-ridden vegetation shifts and morphs as his deadly maze integrates its victims, rendering no two routes the same. Although he was summoned to Preternia by the great black wizard, he obeys no one and allows no one to escape his evil gate. So that's an interesting bit of history. Let's go ahead and open him up. Well, this is problematic. Oh, that is big time problematic in my opinion. That neck thing is terrible. Also, I don't like this weapon one bit. I do not like it at all. And part of that is just the fact that this headpiece here doesn't spin at all. Like, they should have just made that round and had this spin. Maybe even pop off and act like another head type of thing would have been kind of cool. But it doesn't. It's just got this little wrist thingy and the little hand thingy, and that is just obnoxious. It also looks like they finally reused Slackor's bracers here from the Turtles of Grayskull. Let's set Loosey Goosey here aside for a moment and take a look at the comic. Arcade in the Sky. Take a look and read a book. A reading. The Masters of Fraternia find themselves in a most complex of traps, an endless labyrinth. Questions linger on how did they end up here? How did they escape? I don't know what happened. One moment we were with Sharella and Mossman, and the next we were lost in this maze. We didn't simply roam into this cursed lace, but were snared by the most subtle of teleportive traps. Eldor, I found the exit. Wait, whoa, that was close. I believe I know where we are. The bowels of another world? No, somewhere far worse. The Eban Fortress, citadel of great black wizard within its circuitous halls, and among its perimeter lie untold realms, including this labyrinth. Few recognize they are in its clutches until it's too late. Eldor, oh fool, you and your pathetic apprentice are now my playthings. Ha 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 ha. Invoked from a lost tongue, the arcane necromancy, a stigmat Helligate appears, whose doors groan open. The greatest surprise is on its way. I would say don't be afraid, but then then I'd be lying. From the abyssal bowels of an infernal plane, a foul stench precedes the figure who emerges from the flesh gate and beyond. Tauraton! For years, the great black lizard scoured texts stolen from forbidden libraries, striving to summon the beasts. Countless attempts were made to conjure the terror from the passages of the Eldritch Grimoire, but to no avail. After slaying a cluster of maesters, the wizard found the tome whose spell contained the clarion call that Tauraton would answer from across the plane. At last, I found you, Tauraton, master of the labyrinth, lord of chaos. The bull-headed gargantua was not easy to appease. Dude, some of these guys here look like they're straight out of Dungeons and Dragons. The only thing that could predictably control the horned horror was sacrifice, not for it to devour, but for the living labyrinth itself. Countless lost souls haunt Tauraton's mazeways. Many continue an endless search for an exit they will never find. Fight, hero! Any evil can be defeated so long as good rises to the challenge. Now the heroes of Britannia must battle this heinous Goliath, lest they be lost forever. The vines of the labyrinth suddenly animate, ensnaring Tauraton. Layer upon layer of the tendrils wrap themselves across the golden minotaur until he is cocooned. I see you two got lost. How did you know where to find us? The vines told us where you were. Tauraton seized as the masters of Britannia flew toward the sun-swept horizon. It had been a long time since anyone escaped his mazeways. God, man. Sharella is one of those characters I was really looking forward to, but every time they do something with her, she's just kind of insufferable. So, his backstory is kind of dumb. Just gonna straight out say it. I think it's kind of dumb. That being said, let's take a look at the figure himself, and hopefully he does better. He definitely looks like he is reusing lots of parts from Slash. Although these hands might be new. But yeah, these definitely look like the turtle hands, right? So, we've already looked at this neck piece, and this is just awful. It's too loose. And, like, it should be more flush with the body, you know what I mean? It's just terrible. However, besides that neck piece there, on the neck piece, I'm pulling it off. Tauraton's head also is on a little ball joint, so it can actually move up and down a little bit there and spin around itself. And the neck is designed like this, so you know which way is supposed to be front. So again, just loosey-goosey as all hell, man. The head sculpt itself looks pretty cool. I'm gonna refrain from the septum ring jokes this time around. I'll be nice to those who have them at the moment. By the way, this is a new body. Let's go ahead and see if we can take his harness here off. I mean, this is Origins, so his parts do come off, right? Because let's take a good look at his full torso here. I'm not entirely sure this is how a torso would look if it's designed for forearms. In fact, I kind of like to see what somebody who's an anatomy student would come up with for a forearm torso. Because, I mean, I think you need, like, the pecs and stuff are part of what helps move this shit around, right? So not having anything down there like this kind of seems impractical. But again, it's a ferocious creature that doesn't really exist. Like I said, looks like we got a lot of reused parts here from our Slacker figure, which would include the diaper here. Although the boots here, the calves are brand new. Just to go over this a bit. The knees bend like normal. And we still have a boot cut here. And even though the foot is designed a little bit different, it still functions the same with the hinge and the spin. And I know I've got this bad boy apart right now. So let's go ahead and put the rest of them back together. We'll talk about the rest of the articulation. Because obviously we're going to have some hindrance. Oh, actually, before I do that. So, like, we can actually raise all the arms up like this right now. But that's really about it. This is such a weird design when you get right down to it. Like, where did this even come from? I can't stand this head. Like, if anybody else bought this guy, let me know what this head is like. Eventually, I'm sure he'll go on clearance at Mattel creations, and I might go ahead and order another one just for shits and giggles to see if it's the same. So, like we said, the arms hinge. Obviously, this kind of interferes with getting it all the way down. And this one could interfere with it going all the way up on the bottom. But we still have the spin here, which, of course, the harness gets in the way. And then the other arm gets in the way here. So we got lots of shit getting in the way. We got a single joint at the elbow, and that can spin. Same with the other hand, single joint, does not do 90, neither one of them. Wrist spins, in and out articulation. Wrist spins, in and out articulation. Same hand on both of those. Then over here, we have another hand, in and out articulation again. Huh. Started to come loose, too. I want to say these are new hands because I don't believe Slash actually had a closed fist with a hole in it like that. But that would seem to almost be designed for this thing. Like that part there, except for now this looks like it's upside down. But it could be held in his hand over here like that. Or... oops. I mean, I guess it can go up on that hand too. I don't know. Oh, yeah, let's just do that hand. Be held on this hand like this. And used to bash people with. So again, once again, it would make more sense if this thing spun around so that if you did decide to use it in the left hand, you could still turn it so it's facing up. Because when we look here, though, it looks like Tauraton's just holding it there and getting ready to slam it on somebody. So this guy's weight and balance is all over the place. I've got two stands, one on each foot, just to kind of help hold him up. Plus, got him all bent into different shapes, which honestly probably is kind of how the legs are going to have to go anyway, because it's supposed to have that like kind of cloven foot look to it with the slight angle on it. So that aside, you know, the figure actually is pretty cool looking overall. But here again is one of those times when Mattel kind of cheaped out on us. This dude's got 4 hands and he only comes with the 1 weapon. Yeah, I'm sorry, but Mattel, you should have given us 4 weapons for this guy. 4 different weapons even would have been great. But of course, they didn't do that. They just gave us the one lame ass looking thing, which, I mean, it's a battering ram on his hand. It's gonna hurt like hell if you get hit by it, especially that spike at the end, but still, this is just, it's kind of lame. And if it wasn't for how loose the head is though, I would actually really like this figure. And it is an interesting, unique use of a bunch of parts that, well, maybe not a bunch, but a handful of parts that probably would not have seen any other reuse any other time. Because a lot of that Slash is just a one-off bunch of shit, right? So anyway, yeah, he's not a bad looking figure. I definitely would say maybe wait until he goes on sale at some point, because he probably will, and then pick him up then. I might consider getting a second one just in hopes that the head is on that one better, but I doubt it. That sculpt's pretty good. It's kind of too bad the nose ring wasn't actually like loose in there, so you could shift it up and down a bit, but otherwise, yeah, he's actually a pretty cool looking figure. And aside from the anatomy thing, like 4 arms are really nicely done. Much better than the King Hiss for the Turtles of Grayskull line. That was just a cluster of a mess, that King Hiss. One of the worst figures in that line, I will straight out say. But those are my thoughts on Tauraton here. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments below? And if you enjoyed this review, please feel free to ram that like button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe. Perhaps you might even want to go ahead and tap on that notification bell. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.